The board of trustees took out a loan from the Andover Bank for $4.35 million for construction of the addition here and for the renovation in Geneva. We also have money in our development fund, which is a capital improvement fund, to pay the balance. We're also very actively soliciting donations from the community, both in small amounts in $50 and $100 increments and in tens of thousands of dollar increments. We have some naming right opportunities in the Ashtabula addition that will we offer to folks. And in fact, we have three of them, or two of them already committed to.
That's pretty good.
That's really nice, yeah. Three of them are committed to also. Our archives and genealogy room is going to be has been funded by the Robert S. Morrison Foundation. We're going to convert the original front stairs to the Ashtabula Library, those that face West 44th Street, into a stage. We can perform outside concerts, plays, speeches, talks from that front stage. And that's being funded by the Herzog Family Foundation. And then we have Children's Reading Cottage, which is going to be inside the building, but it's going to be, the facade of this is going to be like an outdoor cottage. We think it's going to really be kind of whimsical and kind of attractive for children to come into that area. And that's being funded by a donation from Terry and Dory Warren. So, and there's other opportunities still available. And so we hope that we'll continue to be successful in getting these additional fundings in. On the operating side, we're funded by two sources. We have the Public Library Fund from the state of Ohio, and for us that's about $1.2 million a year. And then we have
that's less than you used to get, is it?
Yeah, it's been reduced over the years, right? It's a percentage of the state budget, and it has been reduced over the years. The libraries and the state as a group tried to increase that each year. That's a decision that's made, at the appropriation level by the state legislature and then by the governor. But we have that, and then we also have a 1.25 operating levy that was passed in November 2013, a 10-year levy for operations only, not for construction, but for operations. So because of that levy, the operating levy, we're able to commit and pledge a portion of our public library funds to pay for the debt, the debt service.
You kind of switch money around a little bit.
Well, yeah, but that freed up that money at about $180,000 a year for the debt service, the public library fund revenue source. What that meant for us, though, is that it enabled us to build the building, to do the renovations in Geneva, and to restore prior services that had been reduced here in Ashtabula and Geneva because of funding issues before the levy. So we've been able to add programming, add services, add some people back to better serve the communities, even while we're doing these massive construction projects. So it's really a good time here at the library.
Yeah.
I arrived in September 2014, so I've been here about 9 months. And when I got here, because of the size of the building and the size of the population that we're trying to serve with this building, the building was basically a book warehouse. There were books everywhere, books on the floor, books, on the very tops of the shelves lying over. It was special shelving had been made so that we could stick books somewhere else, and so just the fact that we have a large population to serve, so we have to have a lot of resources. So an expansion like this is going to allow for a much more well-rounded collection. We're working now at weeding. We're working at updating some of the places that have been maybe neglected or have fallen behind a little bit. So the fact that we're going to have so much more space to house books, that's huge.
So if you found that you had a problem, you didn't have enough, I don't know, for example, history books, but if you got more history books, you'd have to figure out where to put them.
Right. And, so much is published every year, and we want to keep up with that. But yet we don't want to get rid of all the old stuff because that's valuable too. So it's finding that balance. But and another big part of it is the technology. Right now, when you come in to use a computer, 6 of our computers are just sitting on a table with wires everywhere, and because that's just how we could MacGyver it together to make it work so that we could make computers and more computers available to our patrons. So that was another big issue. Another thing that's close to my heart is right now the children's department's in the basement. And it's a great children's department. It's beautifully decorated. There are wonderful, wonderful books and wonderful resources here, but it's in the basement. So bringing everything up to the first floor where there's going to be a lot of light, there's going to be a lot of open space. It's a room specifically designed for children and storybook time. Those are huge, huge additions to what we're trying to do here in the community. So, and the meeting rooms too. Our meeting room here at the Ashtabula building used to be the bookmobile garage. So it's long and narrow and seats maybe 60 people. So in order to have any kind of high quality programming, you have to have someplace to put them. So with this much larger meeting room, it will seat 120 people, can be divided in half. We could have two programs going on at one time, and the community can use it too. So it's just a win-win all the way around.
There's a lot of passion, there's a lot of energy. I know in the Ashtabula County District Library, and the staff here is totally committed to serving the communities that we operate in. And you come in any time of day that we're open, and you're going to see our computers are going to be full with patrons using, getting on the internet access. You're going to see research being done in archives and genealogy. You're going to be people reading the newspaper or magazines. And we still even check out books once in a while. And it still happens. But a lot of electronic books, a lot of music,
Right.
a lot of video, a lot
And
of
some
DVDs.
of that people can do from their homes.
Much of it we do, and we're adding products to make it even more accessible for that. I'm not the best one to talk about that because I'm not a library professional,
Right.
But we're adding a lot of services for the community. But we're able to do that at a time when we're still building. So that's really a great story. Really an outstanding story.
You're talking about doing some work on the Geneva Library, which
Yes.
I still consider to be a pretty new facility
It
there.
is.
But you're taking the archives out of there and bringing them here, correct?
Right, yeah. One of the things that's going to happen is that when we're done with the renovation and addition here at Ashtabula Library, we're going to bring the archives and genealogy operations from Geneva over here. And in doing so, we're going to be able to triple the amount of space that they currently occupy in Geneva. So they'll have 3 times as much room here in Ashtabula as they currently have. We think that's going to help that department grow. And that's a growing interest in the community as well. So we're going to have a little better work area for our patrons to come in for genealogy research. We're going to be able to house more. We're going to probably have a little bit better environment for it because we're going to build a room specifically to make sure we're taking care of some of these old documents properly.
Right.
Heat and humidity levels, we'll have some secured access in there because some of them are pretty valuable. It's going to be a nice operation. So that space will be freed up in Geneva that they're currently occupying to do other types of library services.
The last I talked to them there, they didn't know for sure what they were going to be doing with the space.
Well, I think we're going to be able to fill it up because, as new services, as new products come out, but then we're going to replace all the carpeting in the library. It's that building's almost 20 years old.
Yeah.
It seems new, but it's almost 20
yeah.
years old, and it's used a lot. And so we're going to replace the carpeting and the shelving, probably reconfigure some of the shelving to make it a little more usable in today's world. We're going to do some work in the children's area to kind of improve that and make it a little more attractive to the kids, a little more fun, a little more whimsical. Paint the walls. Yes, we've done roofing in there already. We already replaced the roof once a couple years ago. HVAC systems. But again, you have to do it every so often.
Right.
So we're going to accomplish that here within the next year. And we're hoping by June 1st or so of next year that we're done with the addition here, with the renovation in Geneva. That's our goal anyway. When we opened up bids on March 31st, I believe it was, we had some great news in that the bids came in about $500,000 under the architect's estimate.
Wow.
Which really,
Yeah.
we were pretty close on our budget prior to that time using the architect estimate, but that kind of gave us a little room in there.
In 2006 is when the board and the administration here was looking at the possibility of expanding. So this has been a long time in coming. one of the neat things for me was the day that I arrived, the very first day that I started working, it was a board meeting night, and it was at that meeting that the board decided to voted for the expansion and voted to go ahead and make the leap to borrow money. So it was a really neat time for me to be joining the board and to be joining the library. But you know, between 2006 and now, a lot has happened in the economy.
Yeah.
You know, there was 2008, 2009, libraries were having to close their doors for days, you know, reduce their
Really?
hours, reduce their staff.
The state took away money?
Yes, yes. Right now, the funding that we receive from the state is at 1996 levels. We get the same amount of money to run our libraries in Ohio today as we did in 1996.
Our new meeting room space will be double what it is now, and it doubles the amount of programs we can have because it can be divided into 2 separate rooms, which means we can have somebody doing a book talk in one room and somebody teaching people how to make pizza in another room. And so we have that accessibility now that we didn't have, and it really will make a huge difference, I think, in our program. Right now we're scrambling around to make everybody fit into 1 or 2 time slots, and that doesn't always work.
You're also going back to what you said about Carnegie, is that you can do all that and you can keep a Carnegie library, because they have to be dying.
They are.
They were built
They're disappearing as
120 years
libraries.
ago.
Right. He started in, I believe it was 1896 or 98. It's just a library, and anybody can go there. The library doesn't care what color you are, how much money's in your bank account, whether your car is brand new or 20 years old, or you walked. Doesn't make any difference. It's available to everybody, and I think that's one of the most important things about a library, is the fact that it's a library, and that's what it's there for.
We're currently down here. We're in the basement, okay, and we're kind of in this area of the basement down here.
Okay.
Okay. This is West 44th Street, Park Avenue. So the new main entrance is going to be over here off of Park Avenue, which is over here. Okay. A large meeting room, combined 100 to 110 people, chairs, divider, curtain that is sound deadening. It's not soundproof, but it's
Right.
sound deadening. So you can have a smaller group meeting, you can have 2 small group meetings, or 1 larger one. And we hope to be able to have this equipped with a good, solid audio system and some video capability in there as well. Okay. Originally, we thought we might be doing the ceiling-mounted projectors and pull-down or mechanical screens, but you know, as technology changes, we might just be going to LEDs or even 4 ultra-high def monitors in there for that purpose, and forget the projectors. But this again available for community use during library hours. No cost to use it. After hours, there will probably be some janitorial fees or something involved with it. But again, right off of the main entrance. Okay. There's also a little pantry here that can serve, if there's for refreshments for the meetings, coffee, tea, soda, cookies, an area to prepare that. And also that same pantry can service the story room for the children's area. This is the children's wing over here. Okay, and this is where that facade I talked about is going to be, where the children's reading cottage facade is going to be into the main part of it. But when you come into the main building through the front door, you're going to be able to see all the way through to the west wing of the library. Okay, it'll be a straight shot down there, and this is where there's one of the outside reading terraces. This would be the one for the adult area over here that we hope to get finished off. You come down and you turn right, you're into the children's area. This is where their reading terrace would be, off to the north side, kind of towards the First Presbyterian Church's education building.
Okay.
Okay? You come in and you kind of turn left. You go up. You have to go a few steps because we couldn't get this building up to the same level, the new building up to the same level as the existing first floor of the existing library without a great expense, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we kind of compromised brought it up about halfway, which is a manageable amount financially. There'll be some steps, wide steps. There's also a lift in there if somebody needs some help to get up there. It's not really an elevator, but it's like a wheelchair type lift. Okay. Then you come upstairs and you go into the genealogy and archives area. Everything that's in yellow is the existing building. Everything in blue is the new addition. So we're going to add a room on to where the existing. This is where this is where currently where the newspapers and periodicals are. This is currently fiction. We're going to add another space over here for the archives room. Okay.
But you got to wonder how you were able to survive in the space you have now.
Well, it's pretty full, you know. I mean, it doesn't take long for somebody to realize that we needed more space. All they have to do is come and visit us.
Yeah.
And you can see that we're full. One of the things we're able to do because of the pricing, we'll be able to replace all the lighting in the old building, along with all the new lighting. It's all going to be LED, more efficient, better light. There's a cost up front for it, but on the long term, it's much less costly to operate. So it'll be all LED lighting. But that's what the first floor is going to look like when we're done. Okay. Again, parking over here. This is existing parking. We'll run the book drop. We're going to move it from the road. We'll move it over here to this corner of the new building, and we'll go from there. This is east, south, north, and west. The existing building. And you can see the kind of the model of what the front stage might look like when we're done with it. It's going to be a really nice feature. If you look at the front of this building from West 44th Street, it's a beautiful building. There's a nice lawn area there. People will be able to bring their chairs and really enjoy what's going on. Yeah, we are right now we're budgeting about $4.5 million or so for the addition here and renovation of the Ashtabula Library. There's probably another $500,000 or so that we're going to spend over in Geneva as well, renovating that library as well.
Can you address, you and the Geneva Library are under the same umbrella, right?
Yes.
But the Harbor Top Key is not? Is
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the Ashtabula County District Library has really three operating entities. It has the Ashtabula Library, it has the Geneva Public Library, and then the County Bookmobile.
And if I might just interject, being new to the area, this is a beautiful, beautiful area. When you look at the lake, when you look at the parks, when you look at the trail, you look at the harbor and all the upgrades that are taking place there, and now that hope and that vision is moving to downtown, and the library choosing to stay downtown and choosing to invest in this area, I think is huge.
That's a big plus.
It's huge, and if folks haven't been to this library here in Ashtabula, you really need to stop to see how beautiful this building is. And it would have been a darn shame if the board had chosen to leave here and go to a strip mall somewhere, or go to an old warehouse and move, change it into a library, because there is so much history here, there's so much character here, that this is Ashtabula's, the city of Ashtabula's county library. It's you have to see it to understand why the board would choose to stay here and make the investment in this particular area.